Hello and welcome back to the unit tutorial for Science Year 6 Unit 1 Light, and this is video part 2 of 2. My name is Megan Latchford and I'm a Design Lead at Art Curriculum Plus, Primary Science, History and Geography. This video will explain how you can adapt the lessons within this unit to support and stretch your pupils, and highlight any tricks or investigations to be aware of and to prepare for. A great resource to use to adapt pupil activities in this unit is the online ebook workbook. To access the ebook workbook for this unit, log into Oxford OWL, select the year group and subject you want, and the first resource on the list is the ebook. This is an online exact copy of the pupil workbook. Use the arrows to scroll through the pages, and you can find all the units for your Year 6 within this ebook, just like the physical copy. Select the activity you want to adapt by using the snipping tool and highlighting that section. You may be familiar with the snipping tool, but if not, it's a tool that allows you to copy something from your screen and paste it somewhere else. You can access it by searching in the toolbar, like in this image here, or by pressing Windows, Shift, S simultaneously. Then you hold down click and drag the highlighted rectangle over the area or activity you want to copy, in this case from the ebook workbook. You can now press paste, and that section will be pasted onto the document you want. Sometimes you may find Word works best, sometimes perhaps Publisher. Then you can adapt the activity to suit your pupil's needs, print it off and stick it over the corresponding activity in the pupil workbook. Every lesson starts with a knowledge quiz except for lesson 1, and they can be implemented in a variety of ways which entirely depend on what works best for your class. They are an important step to check for understanding and to address any misconceptions, so try not to miss them out. We have found from teacher feedback that most teachers teach these quizzes with pupils sat at desks independently answering the questions. And this is great if this works for your pupils, and keep doing it if so. But there are other options if you feel this isn't the best method for your class. You could read through the questions and options as a whole class and go through each question and answer one by one, breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. You could go through each question and answer as a class with pupils responding on their fingers, for example, 1, 2, 3, and 4. To keep track of these answers, you keep a record of the general consensus the class has come to, or even make a note in the workbook you have kept aside as a teacher copy. As the year progresses, you may wish to make these knowledge quizzes more independent. The aim of the knowledge quiz is to assess the new learning from the previous lesson, and you can adapt this to any method which best suits your class. Now I'm going to talk through how you can adapt activities in the pupil workbook. We don't have time to go through every activity in this unit, so I've selected 1 or 2 from each lesson. The adaptations we look at here are suggestions, and you should use whatever works best for your pupils. But hopefully this is a useful starting point for you and will start a bank of adaptation ideas. In lesson 1, this retrieval activity asks pupils to use the reading section to tick the correct statements about the picture. To support pupils, you could highlight the key information in the text or /and highlight the key information in the activity. You could also remove an incorrect option or partially complete the activity to allow pupils more time to be successful. Stretch pupils by asking them to complete a challenge activity, such as write a paragraph describing how we can see objects around us. In this activity from Lesson 2, you could use similar methods from Lesson 1. You could highlight the key information in the text, and this could be the case for every read text these pupils may come across. You could partially complete the activity as a model, or for higher level support, you colour coordinate the highlighted text in the reading section and the activity to further guide pupils. Stretch pupils by asking a challenge question such as, do you think the light source being used affects the clarity of a shadow? Why? As with the other examples, support pupils by highlighting the key information in the text. You could be doing this by snipping and pasting from the ebook, then printing and sticking into workbooks. Or you could print the corresponding slides with the text enlarged to give pupils separately. For the retrieval activity, I've rotated the diagram so pupils can use the model in the text as a support and to take away the extra layer of difficulty. For the right task, you could add an image of a periscope so pupils focus on completing the activity successfully instead of the drawing. And to add further support, you could add the first arrow to show how light travels. To stretch pupils, ask them to answer a challenge activity such as write step-by-step instructions on how someone can make a periscope and how it works. In Lesson 4, pupils need to write extended answers to describe what is happening to the light in both images. You can support pupils by reducing the activity to give pupils more time to be successful, and giving people a box of keywords to help craft their answers. Alternatively, if pupils need more support with their writing, create correct and incorrect statements about the images for pupils to read and tick or cross. You can stretch pupils by asking them to answer a challenge question such as, in which other scenarios might you see refraction occur? In Lesson 5, pupils need to explain why we see polar bears as white and jaguars as black. To support pupils, you could give them options to read through instead of writing their own extended answers and ask them to tick the correct options. You could also continue to highlight the key information, either with the highlighting tool or in bold, depending on the level of support. To stretch pupils, ask them to complete a challenge activity such as pick an animal or an item and explain how you can see its colours. In Lesson 6, pupils answer several right questions using what they've just learnt from the read section. You could support pupils by again highlighting the key information in the text and the questions. You could also give pupils options to choose from and circle instead of having to write extended answers. Stretch pupils by asking them to complete a challenge question such as, do you think light pollution is an issue in your area? Write a letter to your local council explaining what could be done to change it. Every lesson finishes with 2 exit questions. These are not in books and are done as a class. Pupils should use their fingers, like we suggested as an option for the knowledge quizzes, to answer. Besides reading through the unit resources before you begin teaching, for every unit there are elements that will need to be planned in advance by the class teacher. You could plan an engaging hook. You could look at a model, create some art, watch a video. You could print off the additional resources in advance or lesson by lesson, but not every lesson will have these, so make sure you check before you teach. And you'll need to gather resources for specific lessons, such as lessons and investigations, and check for this using the unit planning guidance. Hopefully, you now feel confident about accessing and teaching this unit. Any questions, please send to primarymastery at artcurriculumplus.org.uk, and we welcome all feedback to ensure that these resources are as supportive as possible going forward.